This week on What the Heck, we check in with Tyler, reminisce on the college days, and finally get to the much-awaited game, Florida Man of the Week. Crack a cold one, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8. We've made it. We hit the 2-month mark, though that doesn't really mean anything, but it seems like a lot. I'm here. I'm Collin Frederick. I'm here with Jake Reese and Tyler Heck. We don't have a special guest tonight because we couldn't talk anybody into hanging out with us, but, you know, 4's a crowd anyway.
It's
Fellas,
nice to get back to the original group.
It's nice. I missed you guys. It feels like we've really been disconnected.
I feel like I have my spot back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
you
this
were pretty
week.
crowded.
I'm not optional anymore.
But it's possible he's not going to be here next week, so.
It's a holiday week. Maybe we should take it off.
All right, so Jake's not going to. If anybody wants to sit in Jake's seat next week, go ahead and let us know.
We'll be on location to be determined.
Yeah, somewhere. We're going to go somewhere. If you want us to come to your house, shoot us an email and include in the email what you're going to cook for dinner that night.
Where should they shoot that email?
Well, of course, to whattheheckpod@gmail.com. Or you can write on our Facebook. Again, make sure to give the entire Facebook your home address and let us know what you're going to make for dinner, because that's going to, I think, play a pretty large role.
That will
in where we
determine
go.
if there's a choice that needs to be made between a couple spots. The dinner's going to make. That's going to be the
And
number
beverages.
Beverages, that's true. We're mixing it up tonight. Tyler and I are cracking into the Bud Light Seltzer. I hadn't had one, I don't think, until this last weekend, and then I had all of them, and I'm back on the wagon.
It's hard not to have all of them when you find something.
Oh man, that's pretty much how I've been with Natter Days. I even got my dad drinking Natter Days, and he does not strike me as a fratty enough guy to do that. But he's doing it. I just want to go. Tell me.
Do you have any special shout-outs this week? Otherwise, I do.
I do.
You go first.
I actually don't.
Okay, I do. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen,
I knew
was my fabulous wife's birthday. Not going to tell you how young she is. However,
27.
oh, you got it. Man, you're good.
Luckily,
I was going to say 28. She's going to hate me.
Yep.
Yeah, God, that's
We
kind
had a
of
great
offensive,
day.
Actually,
Best thing we could do, in current times.
I'd say it's all you can do.
Yep.
Jake missed out on us going to the pool again. He's still yet to join in on that activity.
I know.
It's all right. It's okay. We couldn't pre-show today because I was doing grown-up stuff, putting patio furniture together, picking up dog poop.
Lame.
I mean, not that much fun, but it's okay because we're here now, and the Bud Light Seltzer's not quite as cold as I'd prefer, but cold enough to get the job done. So let's rock and roll. Tyler, what the heck?
All right, so I prefaced this before we recorded, saying this could turn into a 30-second conversation or a 30-minute conversation, depending on how it goes. Here's what we're talking about tonight. I've got 2 things I want to know, and I think I know both answers for both of you, actually, but I'm just asking anyway.
Pretty
All right.
presumptuous,
Okay, great.
don't you think?
You don't
Well,
know
when
me.
you hear the question.
You don't know
okay.
me.
Trust me, I know you on this. All right.
Ooh.
Number 1, favorite go-to ice cream spot.
Oh,
Yeah, see, told you, I already know it.
I don't even know why they have more than one.
And number 2, you can only choose one ice cream topping to use for the rest of your life. What's it going to be?
2's easier
And
than
that's the one I
one.
know yours.
Yeah, 2's easier than
Okay,
one.
I'll start. I'll give you guys some
All right,
some
ground
time
room
to
here.
talk or to think. I think I would go Culver's. It was a toss up between Culver's and Adrian's in Burlington.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But I went Culver's just because I don't have to drive 30 minutes to go get it right now. I'll get it like when I'm home. So like it's a treat, but if I'm like I need ice cream right now, that's where I'm going to go. And
What happened? Are you ever disappointed when you find that it's only frozen custard?
No, I think that's why I like it.
Oh. Does that count in a different category?
No.
It's all the same.
Oh.
It's not the same.
I know
It's
what
the same.
Colin's answer is going to be, too.
Yeah, I think
It's
everyone
pretty
who knows
obvious.
Collin knows.
If any of you are listening to this and don't know what my answer is,
Stop listening. No,
Yeah.
don't stop listening.
We'll have to do a special expose episode where I just tell you about my life.
My till the end of time ice cream topping would be Reese's peanut butter cups. Like, honestly, I'll just eat Reese's peanut butter cups without the ice cream.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
But if I can only get one thing for the rest of my life in ice cream, that's what I'm going with.
I think that's reasonable.
I got a question. Does the place have to be a current place?
No, anywhere that
Okay.
you've ever been to get ice cream.
Okay, so I would have to go with the original Dairy Ripple back when
Oh,
I was a
yes.
kid.
Oh.
Not Maggie Moo's or whatever, Maggie Moo's Dairy, whatever now. But back when I was a kid, it was just Dairy Ripple. And
Everything wasn't $12.
it was not $12. It was a wooden nickel, by the way.
Whoa.
And I had some friends that worked there when I was in high school, so I'd come up with the and make the order, and it was kind of ironic that later on in life, well, I'll get to that later. So I would come up and order, and my order was a peanut butter cup flurry, and they would just, I think they used like all the peanut butter cups in the place for
Did
mine.
they have peanut butter cups back in your day?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, authentic too, not knockoffs.
I wasn't sure when that started.
Yeah.
If that was in 1864.
Reese was a pretty old guy when he made Reese.
Reese. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fabulous because I paid very cheap and I got all sorts of extra stuff because of, friends being there.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in a number of years ago, just more recent when it was still with Maggie Moo's, Quack's daughter worked there, and she would call it the Jake Reese special because she would gob on the Reese's peanut butter cups. I switched from the flurry because I realized if you got a small dish of vanilla, they would heap more peanut butter cups on top.
And you get less ice cream.
Perfect.
Not
Yeah.
perfect.
So
That's
that's
a terrible move.
That's my choice. Is the
Not just about
original
the ratio.
Dairy Ripple.
That's like.
And
Sorry, will you take the supercharger out of my vehicle? I'm afraid I've got too many horsepower.
no, you're looking at it the wrong way.
What?
I have to agree with you on that topping. Reese's peanut butter cups for life. A second close, very close second place was probably going to be cookie dough. Sometimes I'll mix it up and get peanut butter cups and cookie dough, but I find that's just too much flavor overload. Like I can't have them both. They kind of don't complement each other well for me. So those are my two things. Colin's going to say Sharon Ice Cream Shop.
Yep.
Sorry, I took away your...
My favorite ice cream at the shop is the Sharon Ice Cream Shop. I like it because it still costs a wooden nickel. You could go down there. We'd go down after like a t-ball game after smacking some dingers. And the coach would be like, all right, everybody gets a $2 limit. And you could still get like a large Astro. And it was the best thing. Inflation has caused things a little bit. So now it's might be $2.50 to get an Astro. But still quite reasonable. Additionally, it's for sale. So what I think needs to happen is we'll start a GoFundMe. We'll share it on the What the Heck page. We're going to raise up enough money that we can open up What the Heck Do You Want on Your Cone?
Ooh.
We can podcast from the parlor.
Live from the parlor.
Live from the parlor. You can all come visit us. We'll paint it bright orange. It'll be great. So if you guys want to be involved in helping us buy an ice cream shop,
Could be a minority owner.
yeah, hey, you could be any kind of owner. You could be majority. No, you can't be.
No,
Let's
no,
not
we're-
get
yeah,
crazy.
You can be up to a 49%.
Right. Yeah, so if anybody wants to buy an ice cream shop with us, again, include in your email about what you're cooking us for dinner, how much money you're willing to offer, and, we can maybe work out a deal. But that is my favorite place of all time. I don't see how you can beat it. You go there and they're like, oh, you again.
Well-
The fat guy. I know what you get.
What do you get, though? You got to give us your topping.
But that's different. If I had to choose one topping forever, it's not what I get at the ice cream shop most often. And here's why. Because while Jake's a little bit of a weenie and he can't handle extra flavors, I demand them. And I have two combinations.
It's powerful.
First, I'm always going to get an Astro, and it's always going to be with twist ice cream. Chocolate ice cream's too much once you start to add in the other stuff. But vanilla's just not got the gusto that you need. So you need twist ice cream. And then the two combinations that you can choose for based on your mood and slightly based on what you had last time are M&M and Snickers or Oreo and Butterfinger.
I think I could get on the Oreo Butterfinger page.
You're going to want to try it. It's delightful.
The problem I have with M&Ms and ice cream, they freeze and get hard, and then you feel like you're going to crack your teeth when you eat them.
Not if you're a man.
You don't have that problem with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Am I right, Tyler?
It's a true story.
Yeah, but when they don't use Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, like the real
The
authentic
generic
kind,
brand's awful.
then they kind of suck.
Yeah.
So I can't risk it for that biscuit.
In the
you know?
Sharon ice cream shop, they would probably have the knockoff brand.
No way.
They're not
No,
going original
I
Reese's
just
Peanut
got
Butter Cups.
that. I'm pretty sure it's real.
See? Now,
They go full out.
you're lucky I'm not crawling across this table to smack that insult right off your face. But the Sharon ice cream shop is the best of all time. If I had to choose one topping for the rest of my existence, and mind you, I love ice cream more than anyone except for Travis. That guy.
Wait, are you saying you love Travis more than ice cream, or that he loves ice cream more than you?
Yeah, that was a confusing statement.
Why?
I thought you were saying you love ice cream more than anything in the world
But
except
Travis.
for Travis.
So that's inaccurate.
So you love Travis
why I was
more than you
asking.
love
I
ice
just-
cream.
No, let's not get insane.
I just wanted the
Travis likes ice cream more than me.
I want
Okay,
the
you
fan-
could have just
okay.
said that.
I love ice cream more than anyone does, except for the amount
that works. Travis.
that Travis loves ice cream.
Okay, that's better.
Totally clear now.
All right. So now that we've got that straightened out, what a mess. If I was going to get one topping, it would be hot fudge. Hot fudge, you can just, it's unbelievable. I love what it melts the ice cream a little bit, but then it still has like that little bit of texture to it. It tastes delicious straight out of the jar. You slap that jar in the old microwave, warm her up, give it a couple stirs.
And you just eat it off the spoon?
I've been known to.
You got to clean the spoon somehow.
Come on, let's not get. It's not like I make that my snack.
Forget the ice cream. Just heat up the hot fudge.
And what's the difference between that and like it's a well-known thing that people eat frosting with a spoon or a finger? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like if you get
Yeah.
a can of that Betty Crocker frosting, like the pre-made stuff,
it's too sweet. I can't just eat it out of the container.
you're the worst.
Well, you're not gonna take like the half the
Right.
container. You're
Again,
gonna take, like,
not a
part
snack.
of a spoonful. You're like, yeah, I gotta try it to make sure it's good.
Oh,
It's
Tyler,
quality
what'd you
control.
pack for lunch today? Oh, I got this frosting.
And some hot fudge.
A leftover jar of hot fudge.
Mix them together.
Yeah, that.
We might have to try that.
Yeah, so hot fudge is the move because I don't think I could pick any one of my toppings and really have it be enough for me. Like, it would all be fine, but I've never, ever had hot fudge and not been like, that was delicious. You get that warm,
I understand the feeling.
you get
Yeah.
the warm, cold thing. There's just a lot going on. A texture thing. There's a lot to it. And that's it for me, man. The Sharon Ice Cream Shop, hot fudge. Please email us if you'd like to go in on the investment with us.
Or please email us if you'd like to be a sponsor with ice cream sundaes for next show.
We'd be
take that too.
We'd be happy to
You
meet
can
you
even-
there.
Your
Yeah.
choice of the
You can come with and hang out and eat ice cream with
special
us.
guest, hot fudge sundaes
That's
with
it.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
We will not book a guest for next week in case someone would like to buy ice cream as a bribe.
That's a great idea.
That's such a good idea.
You know, you guys probably don't remember. Well, Tyler didn't grow up here, and Collin, you're just a baby. But where the daycare is, Little Professors,
That's right.
used to
That's
be
where I
an
go to school still.
A&W root beer
Heard
stand.
that.
Man.
And I remember going there after my T-ball games, and you'd get, if you were lucky, most of the time it was just like you got a plain vanilla cone because, that's what you got.
That sucks.
Well, you got it free. The coaches got it
still
free. They made a
sucks.
deal with the, organization. But
I think I would
once
pass.
in a while, if I was, batted the eyelashes correctly at the mom and dad, they'd break down and get the root beer floats.
Oh, that's
And if you haven't ever had a root beer float from A&W, phenomenal, by the way, because they use the creamy A&W, like, out of the tapper, like,
Yeah.
great stuff. So that's a very vivid childhood memory of, man, that place rocked. Like, it's too bad. It's too bad there's a daycare taking care of kids there now instead of serving ice cream.
I think we just get rid of kids.
That's a possibility.
But someday, if they study hard enough at Little Professors, they're going to go to college.
And listen to What the Heck.
And listen to What the Heck. But college. Guys, we all had different experiences. One of us went to a terrible school, and it's Jake.
Sorry, Tyler. I respect your school.
But I'd like to chit-chat about it. I think that this is also going to tell the people a lot about us. To be like, oh, Jake has terrible taste. Okay, now I feel like I know that about him.
I think I'm going to win over podcast world by the time this conversation's over.
I don't know. According to the statistics, other than the one person that lives in Norway that listens to this, there's a strong Illinois population, and I don't think they give one heck about the stupid dingle badgers.
They don't care about the little mini gophers either.
They do because they're cute.
They're not cute.
Yeah, they are.
What? No. What? I was going to stay out of this argument because I knew it was coming. But if we're going
You
to talk
just
about
burned your bridge.
which animal is better, I'm going badger.
Badger.
Have you seen the
Just say it. It sounds tough.
It
Badger.
It literally has bad directly to begin the
but
word.
when you say it, you sound tough. Like badger.
Yeah, bad.
Gopher.
but
I'm a gopher. I like gophers.
Gophers are good for one thing. It's Caddyshack.
Boom. Done.
The best sports movie of all time.
That's the only good gopher that I would cheer for.
Also Goldie.
No.
So anyway, Jake gets to go last.
We'll
'cause
agree to
nobody cares
disagree.
About his school. Tyler, tell me about your time in life when you studied education and biochemistry.
Yeah. So education, biochemistry, double major. I believe that's what we said. I don't remember.
Brilliant.
College was a long time ago.
Finished 2 years.
That's shocking.
No, I'm just kidding. Just an education major with a math minor at UW La Crosse.
You would study math.
Math was easy.
That's fine, but
it
that
was
takes
the
like a
easiest thing
special
for me
kind
to
of
study.
person to be like, yeah, I'm a
Right.
math,
Well,
bit of a math major.
I wasn't going into language arts because I didn't want to write all the essays. Even though, fun fact, in math classes in college, you still have to write essays. It sucked.
With words or numbers?
Oh, with words. You
Yeah,
had numbers
numbers.
too, but you had to legitimately write
Like story
5 or
problems?
6-page essays. No,
Little Jimmy Dickens.
it was dumb. So that part wasn't fun, but yeah, I mean, I spent 4.5 years there. My last semester was my student teaching, so I didn't really attend any classes.
Not too different from the first 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't change a whole lot. I went to a few more classes before the student teaching thing, but not many. I like to skip a lot. I went early in the week, I should say that. Monday and Tuesday was like 75% attendance.
That's pretty good.
But by Friday, I was down to like 5%. Yeah, I mean, I went to La Crosse because it was smaller. I didn't want a big college. La Crosse was actually the only place I applied to. I was really confident that I was going to get in, so didn't even try to apply anywhere else.
Wow, that must be nice.
Yeah. Thought about maybe Whitewater, but it was just too close. I wanted to get
Not good enough.
away from
Not good enough for the heck.
Burlington. Yeah. They didn't want me. I didn't want them. Plus, at the time, I wasn't a big fan of purple.
Is that changed?
Yeah.
Purple and gold.
Because I'm a
Dumb.
wildcat.
Sorry, I bleed black and gold. So
Well, you got one color, right?
Yeah.
no, that's yellow.
It's the same thing.
Jake, tell me about your shitty school.
Without further ado, the great UW-Madison. Badgers. See, that just sounds tough. Like, Badgers are just tough. But
You seen the Badger and the Fox and the Hound? He's kind of a crotchety old man.
he's tough, though.
No way.
I bet you in his day, he would have he ruled that forest.
Doesn't he have a scar?
Yeah, he
He's a
does from a
battle-
fight.
Probably from getting his ass kicked.
No. He survived
he would
it.
have died.
The other
Copper
one's
would
dead.
rip that guy apart.
Well, that's
Copper just wanted to play tag with him.
That's because Todd would have helped.
Yeah, it's because Todd's.
So anyway,
Man,
back to
Jam.
the greatest school ever. I went to Madison. Applied to a couple other schools. Whitewater was one of them. La Crosse was one of them. University of Iowa was kind of like my reach and shoot goal back when I thought like, hey, I'd love to be at Iowa and, you know, somehow be a part of their wrestling program, although I knew probably it wasn't realistic. I did get accepted there for my, you know, academics. However, no follow-up calls from Dan Gable about my wrestling ability. So
Come on, Dan, what are you doing?
After Jay kept showing up in his window at night, he was not that interested.
yeah, when I got the restraining order, I just decided that maybe I better go to Madison because there was too many, you know.
Because they'll let anybody in.
Yeah, right. My area of study was economics. At the time, I was, as are most 19-year-olds, like not sure what I wanted to do. So I didn't go to the School of Business. I went to economics, kind of more broad-based. I, however, was graduating in 3.5 years. Boom,
Smart
saved
guy.
a semester. I took some AP courses in high school that really kind of made up that extra semester. So kudos to the old Bigfoot High for
Kudos to me.
kudos to me and Bigfoot
Pat
High.
yourself on the back here.
So yeah, no, I had a great time there. I also had an older brother that went there, so I kind of had like an
A little bit of
inside
a copycat.
scoop. Well, I got to know the ins and outs of the school,
Sure,
you know,
sure,
so
Behind
it
the
was a good
scenes.
thing. Yeah, you know the do's and don'ts, like likes and dislikes.
Don't go here. Yeah.
No, it was love it, greatest school ever. So it was like part 2 when I went there. Greatest school ever, 2.0.
So I went to the greatest school ever.
You didn't go to Madison?
No, I didn't even apply because I was like, this place
She
sucks.
couldn't get in.
I could have got in with bells on. They'd have just graduated me probably the day I sent in my application.
Well, it seems like you messed up then.
I went to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, home of the Golden Gophers.
Is that different from the University of Minnesota?
The way they have their system set up, it like is specified because they have a bunch of them, and it's just they do things differently.
It's
like
all under the same umbrella.
Like I think when you go to a different, I could be wrong here too, but I think when you go to like Minnesota Duluth, I think that you like graduate with a diploma that says University of Minnesota. Which, as a guy that went to the real University of Minnesota, that kind of irks me.
Do you have to say Twin Cities?
You don't
Can't
have
you
to.
just say
I
University of
generally
Minnesota?
say Minnesota, but what if somebody wants to retroactively write me a letter?
Excuse me?
So anyway, I like Tyler. That was the only school that I applied to, and I was accepted early, and it was all good. I went directly into the business school there, so I didn't have to go into CLA and do my gen eds and that kind of stuff. I just was directly admitted. So that was nice because I got to start some of like the more interesting stuff right away, and I just mixed in like the nonsense, like astronomy and like all the
Psychology
all the
and
all
all
the
the,
stuff.
the
the
worst,
gobbledygook.
the nonsense. And I loved it. Minnesota has a really good business school, the Carlson School of Management, and it's nice. It's on the other side of the river from like the main campus, and it's pretty much contained in 2 buildings connected by a little skyway. And they were like the 2 newest, nicest buildings on campus, so that was just where I spent all my time. There's Panda Express in the basement. That was great. Not that good
Panda,
for me, but
man.
so good.
Is
I
it
don't
Pam or Pam?
Pam.
Pam?
Pam. I don't think that I had Pam until I went there, and then I was like, oh boy, and then I ate far too much of it.
It's addicting.
Oh, it's good. I got the same thing every day, and it never got old ever. But I loved it there. Originally, when I went into school, I had it in my brain that I was going to double major in finance and economics and trade commodities because I knew a guy and I shadowed a guy, and I was like, this is cool. I can make all the money. And then I realized I could have none of the family.
Or a life, really, in
Or
general.
really a life. So, and I also was like, I don't want to live in Chicago, nor do I want to commute 2 hours after working 100 hours a day. So that changed quickly, and And also I realized that living in the city was really not for me, and I wanted to come back home. And so I switched to entrepreneurial management and finance. I still kept the finance thing. But when I knew that I was coming back into the small business, family business setting, I thought that it would be helpful to, at least with the entree, I kind of had at least a base level knowledge in HR and marketing and finance and like all the different parts, so I could kind of wear some different hats. But basically it was the greatest school that's ever existed in the history of time.
No comment. I do have a question for you guys under this topic. So this is going to be, I'm going to preface this by saying academically related, not like party related or any of your extracurricular activities.
I'm not familiar with partying.
What's
Okay,
academic
perfect.
mean?
So if you had one regret about any choices you made at your schools, academically related, or something like, I wish I would have took this class, or maybe I wish I would have got this minor, or I would have done. Do you have one thing that oftentimes you go, man, I just wish I would have done that? So you guys can ponder that while I tell you mine. So I tested into 5th semester Spanish at Madison. So the way that works is you get a B or better, you get credit for a B in the 4 previous semesters, and then 5th semester. Well, at the time, I don't know if it's the case now, I haven't kept in touch, but at the time, 6 semesters got you a minor in Spanish. So I like really worked my tail off, got my B in 5th semester, but it cost me some one-on-one time with my professor, like after hours, and like I just really didn't enjoy it. But looking back, I wish I would have taken. The reason I didn't take that 6th semester is because same professor taught the 6th semester. Just wasn't having it. But looking back, I go, it's silly. If I would have just worked my tail off again, one more semester, I'd have a minor in Spanish, and it's, one of those things that would have just made the resume, look a little brighter, a little cleaner, maybe. So that gives you guys an idea. Any thoughts on that?
I actually have 2, and one of them I agree. I think I wish I would have minored in Spanish, just knowing. I think at the time I didn't, because my plan was I wasn't going to move back here. I really loved the La Crosse area. I was going to stay there. And there was a Spanish population, but it wasn't big. There's a larger Hmong population, a larger black population. So I didn't think anything of it because I was going to stay there. And I knew, I took Spanish 3 years in high school, so I knew like the minor
Enough to get by.
Yeah. But now coming back, I wish I would have, and just being a teacher, I wish I would have, because we have so many students that come in speaking very little English or no English, and I have very little way to communicate with them. So it would have just made that a lot easier for me and for them. So that's one thing I've thought about a lot, is even just going back now and doing it. But also, when I first started, I was originally double majoring in math and elementary because I wanted to teach high school, and I switched because my advisor told me I told him I wanted to teach middle school, and that hasn't changed. I'm glad I'm in the middle school, but I switched because with a elementary major as a male, I was way more marketable. Where he just said, you're going to get a lot more interviews, you're going to get a lot more job offers being a male with an elementary background, because you can teach anything. You're not just tied to that one subject. And it's great. I love having that, but I wish I would have had gotten my high school degree as well, just so I had that chance to, if something were to open up, I'd be able to just, hey, I already have everything you need. I'm in, not have to go back to school to try and get it. So I think those are probably my 2 biggest regrets.
My first regret is that I took astronomy. I thought that'd be cool. I could look at some stars, like hang out. Turns out it's just physics with bigger numbers. So that was the worst. Like that class was so much harder than it should have been. And I was like, this is not what I was trying to accomplish here. But my other regret is that one of my personality traits, and I know that it's weird given the fact that I'm here broadcasting my voice, but I prefer to like if I can just go unnoticed in life, that's generally my preferred route. There's some situations in which that sounds very inconsistent because sometimes I like to have a
Like
good
when
time.
you run a podcast.
Like when I run a podcast or when I drink all the Bud Light seltzers. Those are two situations. But generally, so that was like one part of going to a big school. I like try to keep my head down. I don't hide that well because I'm not that stealthy or small. But if I was, I'd be into it. But I didn't ask enough questions. I very rarely went to an office hour unless I had to, was required to do so. So I probably could have had a little better luck. I did fine, but I for sure could have done better if I'd put myself out there a little more. Which I think also translates into one regret outside of the classroom, and that I totally should have been more involved than I was, especially at such a big school. There were a million things to do all the time. And I played intramural football a few times, and that was pretty much the extent of it. But that's also tricky because I'm a very different human than I was as a freshman in college.
Yeah, most of us are.
I'm still a square.
It's tough.
I'm still a square, but I'm less of a square by about 95%. Looking back, I'm man, I probably could have had fun in a frat. I'm not real into the frat thing, but or even a club, where
Yeah.
so I could have done for sure more of that because I did not.
I thought of one while Tyler was talking. With my role and what I do for my career in money management and financial planning, I wish I would have, maybe not at a minor, maybe at a minor, who knows, but I wish I would have taken more psychology courses.
Sure.
Because for what I do, oftentimes it's behavioral, it's the mental side of things that is a large portion of my job. So I often tell people that, man, I wish I would have took more psychology classes and just understand how the human brain works and what makes people tick, and that just would have helped. But that was something like along the career path, if I would have known 20 years ago what I'm doing right now, I would have added a couple extra. I did take one psych class, didn't really enjoy it, so I'm not sure how that would have gone over if I would have had to take 3 or 4 or 5. But
psych was one of those things that was a requirement.
Yep.
And I did it the summer after my freshman year while I was working at Dean's. I was working second shift kind of, so my schedule was all messed up. And I took it online through Whitewater. And somehow we did a semester's class in 2 weeks.
Nice.
That's how I did 2 of my psych
It
classes,
was
and I wish I didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't
'Cause
learn anything.
There was so much to learn, and I don't remember nearly as much as I should have. But I took two of my 3 required psych classes in the same summer back to back.
It was
and they
nuts.
were both 2.5 weeks long.
It was not a lot of fun. I'd get home from work at 1 or 2 o'clock, and then at 6 when my dad was leaving or getting up and getting ready for work, I'd still be sitting at the counter doing my psych. But that was not a bad thing. Did you guys ever have a real blow off semester, or at least some blow offy kind of classes that you took, or was everything pretty much focused?
I think my least focused semester was probably my spring semester freshman year, just because my fall semester I thought was really easy, and I passed everything, did really well, so I didn't try as hard as I should have that spring semester, and I skipped a couple classes like bio because I did not like the big lecture. I didn't feel like I learned anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably I'd say my worst semester because I didn't put as much effort into it. But after that, I still.
But you didn't take any classes that were totally unrelated?
No, because I didn't really have
Time.
Yeah, I mean, I could have. I stuck with 15 or 16 credits every semester, but it's everything that I really needed.
Yep.
Or, it was one of, like, yeah, this isn't a class I need, but it takes care of something that I need to cover.
Sure.
So I didn't really take a lot of, like, blow off. Like, I know I had some friends who did, like, bowling or golf. And, like, I would have loved to do something like that.
I wish I could have taken golf as a man in the business world.
Golf?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not a
Here's
good golfer.
here's what I heard about golf. It's my friend went to Platteville.
P. Vegas.
And he took it in the spring semester in Platteville. So golf usually didn't even start a class until end of March. So they'd like meet at the gym and be like, well, we can't really do anything. So they'd like watch a video for 10 minutes and that'd be class. And then when they could start going outside, they would just go to the driving range and it'd be like, here's a bucket of balls. Hit your bucket and then you're done. And then at the end of the class, or at the end of the semester, I think he said they played a round of 9. They had to play a round of 9 with the professor, and they were graded based on their score. But as long as they played, they passed. I'm like, man, I wish I would have done something like that.
It's funny that you talk about freshman year and like learning kind of how you adjust to college there. My freshman year, going up to like through high school and everything, I was like a total morning person, and so fall semester freshman year, I was like, I'm gonna get everything out of the way right away. I'm gonna be done by noon. I'm gonna have my afternoons, and all that did for me was cause me to miss a bunch of 8 a.m.s. I was like, well, this is terrible. So after that semester, I did not register for any classes that began before 10 a.m. And one nice thing about the Carlson School was that there were no classes on Fridays. So like the rest of the university was still had classes, but in the business school, none of like the classes were even offered on Fridays. It was either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. So there were like a few semesters where I just piled it all up and I only had class Tuesday, Thursday. So I just worked a bunch. It sounded better on paper because I was like, I have every weekend is a 4-day weekend. This is unbelievable. But then I just worked a lot and that wasn't that much fun. So that was nice, like the learning how I was going to do college, and that did not involve getting up at 7 o'clock to go to class. And it was better after that because then I felt less obligated. But also another thing about my feeling like I wish people didn't see me. My last semester, or my last year, I guess, I lived out in the suburbs. And so if I'd get like caught in traffic or whatever, or left late, or was running late for class, there were times where I would like drive all the way to campus and get there in a half hour or whatever, and realize that I was going to be late, and then turn around and drive home. Because I was like, I am not walking into that room with the big giant door slamming and everyone turning around and looking at me. I was like, no chance. I would rather waste an hour of my time and miss a class worth of education than have people look at me. So that was the thing. But my biggest blow-off semester was my last semester of college because I was like done. I had all my stuff met and whatever. So I took video games in society. I think that one actually accomplished something. Like I needed like some kind of prereq that I hadn't done yet. So I took a class about video games where they would be like, all right, now this week we're going to play Minesweeper. Play it for a half hour and then write about it. I was like, okay, cool. So I did that. I actually had registered for a business law class about like contracts and like stuff that would have totally been useful.
Sounds hard though.
And I went to class on the first day, and the professor, it was in the law school. I was like totally intimidated. And the professor was like, all right, so just making sure, show of hands, everybody's taken intro to law, blah, 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 blah. And everyone raised their hand but me. And I was like, yeah. So that was the last time I went to that class. I was like only taking, it was 3 credits. So then I needed to find another 3-credit class. So I replaced my contracts and like the business law class with an online 3-credit course that was companion animal nutrition and care. So
Wow.
once a week, I watched lectures about feeding dogs and cats and turtles and birds, and how you got to feed them more when they're having babies, and like that kind. It was bizarre.
Wow.
I
You think
also-
they still offer that class?
And now
Hey,
you're
mate.
a great pet owner.
Now I'm a great pet owner. Uke looks great. He's very appropriately
A little
proportioned,
slender.
but he's good. You can feel his ribs, but you can't see him. And that's where you want him. If I fed him more, he'd be fat.
You learned that from the
He'd be
videos.
overweight. Yeah, that's right. He's great. He's in great shape. But I also took hunting, fishing, and trapping wild game. So that was cool. We learned how to set traps and hunting techniques, and talked. One of the lessons, one class session, was literally about deer camp. The camaraderie, cooking, playing cards,
Drinking beer.
that. Yes.
So it sounds like hunter safety.
It was hunter safety. It was like hunter safety, but more practical skills. Except for one lesson that was literally and when you hunt deer, this is what you do.
Sounds awesome.
So
So
that
I
was
found
m-
2 classes I gotta find.
Yeah,
out.
that was my spring semester. But that was the most blow offy kind of stuff I did.
My blow off would probably be my my last semester as well. So like I said, I graduated a semester early. So I graduated in December. It was probably my junior year meeting with my counselor. He's like, "Oh, by the way, if you want to, you're on track to graduate early and save some money." So I thought that was a great idea. And really, I think 2 of my 4 classes my last semester were prereqs that I had either forgotten about or somehow slipped through the cracks, so not the higher level stuff. So the psych was one of them. I took it later on, and so it really wasn't that tough to get through. I wish I had more blow-offy stuff. Like the whole Friday thing sounds awesome
It was so
because
good.
I don't think I've met a person. Maybe Tyler will be this person, but I don't think I've met a person yet that can say, "Oh, at least one semester in college, I didn't have class on Friday." I had class 5 days a week, all semesters I was in college.
That sounds horrible.
I could
Yeah,
not
that's
work
the
my
worst.
schedule out to not have a Friday class.
Sounds like
or
another
to not
reason that
have a
Minnesota
Monday
is
class.
better than Wisconsin.
No, that's strong. That's strong. They want us in
I
the
don't
classroom
think it is.
5 days a week learning and
Minnesota
being the best we can
wants
be.
us out developing our social skills so we can survive in the real world.
Oh, that sounds like bunk. Anyway, the anti-blow off actually that came to mind while you're talking about it, and you guys are giving me weird looks, is and it came to mind more when you were talking about how you drove into campus and you didn't want to be late and you just drive out. So this was another, I think I took it on an 8 a.m. course, and for my fellow UW-Madison alum out there, there's a class called African Storytelling. Harold Shoaib, I think, was a professor's name.
Well, he's long dead now.
He
You went to
passed
college
just a
50
couple years
you
ago,
went to
actually.
college 50 years ago.
He did pass just a couple years ago. The awesome thing was, this guy was an honorary member of 10 different tribes. Craziness. He literally lived with tribes. So his stories were not just he read a book and he's telling us about this African storybook. He got these stories from living with tribes in Africa,
That's
and they were told in the villages. So they're generationally told down the line, and this old guy's coming back telling us. But he had the rule, and he had a sign-up sheet. So we're in a lecture hall of a couple hundred people, and you had 5 sign-up sheets that went around, and you had to sign in and put your student ID number down. And so it was you couldn't just have it, "Hey, Joe, I'm not going to class, dude. Just sign me in." And be like, "Well, give me your student ID number." You just don't give that stuff out,
Especially because that was 8 years before text messaging existed.
Yeah, it was. And yeah. So, and he had the thing, and it only happened once. It was early on in the class, and that's when I was my alarm never hit snooze, and I was up every day for that class. It was the 3rd class of the semester. I was kind of like you. I sat in the back, kept my head down, just did my own thing. Well, this guy comes in. So it's a big lecture hall. He's up on the stage and he's lecturing, and this guy comes in, and like you said, door opens and closes. He sneaks around and gets in the very last row, end seat. Our professor got down off the stage, walked all the way around to him, and said, "Come with me." And the kid's like looking at him, thinking, oh, I don't know, he's going to have me sign in or something. He walked him to the back door, opened the door, and said, get out. You're late. Don't come back if you're going to be late. You were only allowed 3 absences in that class, and then it was an automatic F. So 3 classes in, this poor, I don't know who the guy was, but he had 1, and I guarantee you that guy was like picking him out of the crowd every time he was there looking for him. So that was like a little intimidating moment, but I tell you, it was probably one of the most interesting classes I've ever been a part of. And for some reason, I understood a lot of it. So there's a couple of my fellow classmates that I actually was like, oh, you don't know what that story means? Like, here, this is what the gist of it was. Like, for some reason, I was able to summarize it. So
Probably your history in Africa.
yes, I did spend some time there. You know, I didn't have 10 tribes. Like, he literally spoke like 7 languages.
That sounds
I
exhausting.
mean, it's amazing. I mean, just amazing. So if there are any of my fellow Madison alum out there that have taken African storytelling, please comment on our Facebook page, send an email in. Love to hear back on your thoughts. Hopefully you had a positive experience like I did.
We might have to come back to college on another episode because there's so much more I want to talk about.
There's a lot.
So much. We didn't even get into like the fun stuff. That was all just school.
Yeah.
But now, it's time to find the Florida Man of the Week. Although, we're actually going to pick 2. So it's Florida men.
Okay.
Is it all men or is there
There's
some women
one
involved?
woman involved.
Okay.
So equal opportunity here.
So what I have here are 5 stories. If you're not familiar, you can go on Google, and if you search Florida Man and really any date, especially your birthday, it comes up with these ridiculous stories because the people in Florida are nuts and they do crazy shit.
Did you do Florida Man and Tyler and I birthdays?
I considered it, but then I didn't realize I didn't care that much.
And you don't know our birthdays, so that's fine too.
Next time.
No, but it was just
We'll let
Kim's
you know.
birthday. That was great.
Did you do Florida Man on Kim's birthday?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I just picked the ones that look the best.
Oh, okay. So there's no rhyme or reason to these.
That's correct.
Got it. And how are we basing our selection on? Like,
Just your favorite.
okay,
Favorite, like, wow, that's just the craziest story.
or like,
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sure. But I think that we should agree on it because the top 2 stories that we select out of these 5 are going to move on until someday we'll continue to do the Florida Man of the Week, Florida Men, Florida Women, Florida people, the
Florida
Florida
people of the week.
the Florida multiple people of the week, until we've got 16, and then we'll throw a bracket together and determine the ultimate.
I cannot
Florida
wait
man.
for you to throw
This
that
is
bracket
gonna be-
together.
Oh, it's gonna be nice.
You make sure you seed it,
Oh, I'm gonna seed it.
and I am gonna just rip it apart.
I'm gonna seed it so well.
I'm gonna
I
shred
was,
it.
I was listening back, and I didn't really hardly question your seedings at all. It was mostly just that I hadn't heard of a few movies, and you didn't include Friday Night Lights. Other than
Which,
that, it really was
you know,
not such a
there
shredding
was
of
a-
the bracket itself.
There
It
was a loyal listener who I felt is a very wise man in his years who made a comment that he did not feel Friday Night Lights, the movie, deserved to be in the bracket. Did you read that comment?
I didn't. He's not that wise, frankly.
He said, Friday Night Lights, the movie, so-so. Friday Night Lights, the TV show, different story.
Well, that's because
way
we're talking
ahead
about
of the game.
County Britain,
Well,
and that's worth discussion.
so you're making a big stink over a movie that was so-so.
No, I feel much stronger about the movie than he does. Like I said, I don't think he's that wise.
Okay, Florida man, Florida
But
people.
anyway,
here
I'm
we
just
come.
saying your hard feelings about the bracket. I don't think that the bracket was so much questioned as it was, why the hell are we watching a movie about dog sleds
8 Men Out. Seriously.
and Fox and the
Cannot
Hound?
believe you've never even heard of it.
Florida man, claiming people were, quote, eating his brains, leads police on an insane golf course chase. The guy's 29 years old, and he stole a community watch vehicle when he commandeered from the guy who was responding to reports that Webb was running around shouting that, quote, people were eating his brains out. So that guy rolls in to deal with the crazy guy, who then has his car stolen by the crazy guy, and he's driving through people's backyards and out onto a golf course, and they finally track him down, and Actually, no, they did not track him down on the golf course. They were still chasing him. There was hot pursuit. People were golfing. Everything was going crazy.
Playing through. 4.
He was not caught until he crashed his community watch vehicle into a nursing home before running off on foot.
He didn't hurt any old people, did he?
He did not hurt any old people, but he caused thousands of dollars of damage. And, actually, he remains at large. So he did not get caught on foot. So if you guys see a guy in a on a golf course, in a community watch vehicle.
And talking about people eating his brains, please report him.
His name is Jamie Webb. He's 29. Next, we have Florida woman's maternity photo includes alligator, shotgun, Bud Light.
Winner. Don't even read
Don't,
it.
yeah.
Champion.
There's the photo for you to
I mean,
review.
there's your bracket winner.
Oh my God. Can we somehow get this photo on our Facebook
I'll
page?
post the photo on Facebook.
That is
That
dynamite.
It's the best maternity photo that I've ever
All right.
seen.
Before you
what
read
was
anything,
I thinking? I had 2 kids.
can we recreate this photo?
Yes, Jake can be the alligator.
As long as, well, no.
I'll be the woman because I'm shorter.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
we'll recreate this.
Who's gonna be the baby?
To describe this photo to you, in case
I'll just push my stomach
we'll,
out a little
we'll
bit
get it
more.
on Facebook. But to describe it, there's a man dressed like he's just having a normal day. He's going to work at Shopco. There's a woman with like a real small white tank on, and she's wearing jorts.
Small as in like short
Yeah,
and
short.
tight.
And her pregnant belly is hanging out, and she's wearing jean shorts that are 8 inches away from buttoning. And cowboy boots. There's a Florida state flag stuck in the ground behind him. There's a case of Bud Light on the ground with a shotgun leaned against it. Probably a fake wood pump action 12 gauge, and a small alligator in her arms as if it was a baby. She captioned the photo on Facebook. Quote, "Last minute practice for baby. Alligators don't like to bottle feed apparently. ... Didn't try to breastfeed." Which was probably probably a good idea.
Yeah, that was wow.
That's awesome.
Florida man arrested with cocaine stuffed Lunchables. I love Lunchables.
I do
my
too. I
gosh.
wonder where you get those.
Yeah.
They actually were caught in Ohio, but they're both from Florida, traveling
Classic.
from Florida. They were in possession of $84,000 worth of cocaine, stowed inside
gosh.
Lunchables.
That's some sweet Lunchables.
How many Lunchables does that fit in exactly?
It says just a couple. Like the quote, it says a couple.
I have no idea what $84,000 of
Yeah, it could be.
What it
It could
looks
be
like.
very little. I'm not sure.
10 grams.
They were driving in a rented Ford F-150, cruising down the Ohio Turnpike. And the cops' quote says, "Suspiciously heavy boxes of Lunchables, which, when opened, did not reveal trays of luncheon meat, crackers, and corn syrup." Instead, it was just Coke.
What did they get pulled over for? Does it say?
Yes. Excessive speed and aggressive lane changes. They were driving in a dangerous manner.
They would have just minded their own business.
People
They could
are
have had their
dumb.
cocaine Lunchables anytime they wanted.
It feels like that's like a thing. If you
Criminals are
If you
stupid.
committed a crime, like just use your blinker.
Legitimately act and drive normal,
Like be cool.
right?
So we got Coke Lunchables.
Coke Lunchables, yeah.
These,
I just want a regular Lunchable. Though.
these last two.
That might be lunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or if anyone wants to sponsor next week's episode, if we
Oh.
can't have dinner in your home, if you want to get us pizza Lunchables, are those your favorites? Do you like the pizza? Or what
I
do you like?
love the pizza ones, but I feel like those would be difficult to eat while we're doing this.
I like to spread the
I
sauce with
also-
my finger.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I would definitely be okay with a ham Lunchable.
Oh, with crackers,
ham,
luncheon
crackers, and
meat,
cheese.
and
Yes.
corn syrup.
Yeah,
As long as there's a dessert in it.
Yeah.
I don't like the
Yeah.
Lunchables that come without the little cookie.
and
or
it's
the
got to
little-
have the Capri Sun.
Yeah, the Capri
Okay,
Sun.
None
you
of
gotta
this.
have that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even do those anymore. That's disappointing.
Florida man learns hard way he stole laxatives, not opioids.
Wow.
Oh, this is gonna be
that
good.
poor sucker.
He wins. I'm in.
Peter Hans Emery, 56. he entered a home. Or no, he was staying in a home, but he entered someone else's lockbox and poured a bunch of pills into his hand. The pills were in a container labeled hydrocodone acetaminophen. However, the pills were actually Equate, the store brand generic gentle laxative.
Oh, yes.
He already had a long rap sheet, like somebody that breaks into lockboxes that steal pills
this isn't
would.
his first time.
He was arrested and booked on a felony charge and probation violation. How messy was his prison stint? Not like prison, but like that night when he got booked and he was sitting in a jail cell.
Sure feel bad for the poor guy who was in there on intoxication
Right,
and
it
had
was
to
just
share
in
a
the
cell
drunk
with him.
tank.
Maybe they just
man.
brought in a porta potty for him.
But
Hey,
also,
go use that metal shitter in the corner,
What?
bro.
Actually, it doesn't matter. You're going wherever you are.
yeah, you're
so-
doing it. But so even if I was the one doing it and I knew that I was putting the laxative pills into a different container, like, what? I could get confused in the middle of the night. Like, why would you not put that in a container that, like, this is a laxative?
Yeah, that's confusing too.
But also,
Also, what happened to the laxative container? Why do they have loose laxative pills?
maybe that's they put all the what was it, hydrocodone?
Yeah.
Maybe that went into the laxative thing.
Why? What kind of
But
psycho does that?
No, maybe they.
Maybe this
he
has been a
had-
recurring
I was gonna
problem.
Say, maybe he had stolen from them before.
Peter Hans Emery
But
stays with them all
also-
the time.
I don't know exactly how all this stuff looks, but I've got to feel someone who's used this, taken these pills before, has to see a difference.
One might think
Weird.
the last story might be my favorite. No,
I will say,
Correct.
Topping the maternity photo. Come on.
no, correction. The last story is my favorite.
I already read the back because you faced it to me, so I'm excited to hear the beginning of this story because it's pretty good.
Florida man denies syringes found in rectum are his. Oh no. Wesley Scott, he was arrested on an outstanding warrant charging him with drug possession. And when he was searched at jail, they found 3 syringes in his rectum.
How? I've never been to jail.
Or
I've never
stuck
been
syringes
searched.
up your
Or
rectum?
no, I have not ever stuck syringes up my rectum. But when you go to jail, do they do? Is it a cavity search?
Yeah,
like
apparently.
they like put on the elbow deep rubber gloves and go up there to see if you're hiding stuff.
I wonder if
I don't know how else they find them
They
unless it was sticking out
they
a little
said
bit.
it was a warrant, so I wonder if they were like they had to
They were
do it
looking
for him.
for drugs.
I don't think they would do it for everybody.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He claimed he found the syringes and they were not his, although he did not explain how they wound up in his buttocks.
Well, that's obvious.
What?
He sat down on them, and there you go.
What?
He got up and was like, "What
did
was
those
that
get- how
poking
did
me in
those
the
get here?
You guys
backside?"
will not believe what I found. He was charged with introducing contraband into a correctional facility and held on $5,000 bond.
Oh my!
I'll go first in saying syringe and butt guy and maternity photo. I think that's going to be pretty unanimous.
Yeah, I'm with those two.
I agree as well.
Yeah, I would say the I think the the cocaine lunchable is like a close third, maybe.
That's pretty good. But just to recap, the headlines that will be moving on into our future someday bracket are: Florida woman's maternity photo includes alligator shotgun Bud Light, and Florida man denies syringes found in rectum are his.
Wow.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, we've been trying to do it for a few weeks, and
What
we
a
keep getting
way
distracted
to
by
start
fun
Florida
stuff.
Man of the Week.
But I think that was pretty strong. Strong way to kick it off. If you find any funny ones of those, please share them with us also. Maybe we can use them in the next episode.
I'm totally going to Florida man my birthday tomorrow at work just to see, maybe not on my computer, but somebody else's computer.
Yeah.
That's
See
what we
how
should
it
do it
comes
for the
up.
next one. We each bring in like 3 from our birthday.
Yes.
And see what wins.
This is going to be unbelievable. So, yeah, I guess that's a good place to wrap it up for the evening. That the college thing we're going to have to come back to. This episode really feels like there's a lot left to be discovered.
I think so.
We got to talk about college. We got to come back to Florida Man. Those, I don't know how often we'll do them, but we'll kind of sneak them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty quick segment. We can probably add that in wherever we need to. But I look forward to finding out what more of the ridiculous humans that live in Florida are up to.
Oh my gosh.
I want to know who came up with this on Google. Like, that's just brilliant.
I don't know.
It's
Some of
just
these-
brilliant.
Most trends that I find on the internet are just asinine and a giant waste of time. But this one feels very worthwhile.
Yes, we must follow this.
So go ahead. Make sure, before you go to bed tonight, I want you all to search Florida Man in your birthday, because I think that it'll give you a little chuckle before you call it a night. But also before you call it a night, finish that beer, grab another one, because the night's still extra young, way younger than it usually is when we're doing this. And we'll see you in a week. So for Jake Reese, Tyler Heck, I'm Colin Frederick. Let's get the heck out of here.